Good afternoon, Donald from D&D Defense, back with another video. Today's video is going to demonstrate or illustrate what one would do in a more up-close encounter, a close quarter combat. And that will look differently depending on your environment. But for the purposes of this specific drill, it's not going to be what some may see in other close quarter combat type of videos. This is more so dealing with a potential threat that turns to a threat, and you just happen to be close to that person. Remember, in self-defense scenarios, a lot of self-defense situations occur within close proximity of the target or of the person that you're defending yourself against. They usually don't happen from a distance. And in fact, most self-defense scenarios that involve firearms happen at, I want to say, roughly ranging from 15 to 21 feet. And that's very important because that's also kind of the distance in which they can do physical harm to you, even if they don't have a firearm. If they have a knife and you have a firearm, by the time you reach your firearm draw and get on target, that person's probably already stabbed you. And I'm not saying that those things are planned out. It's just the statistics. The stats don't lie. And so statistically speaking, most engagements happen at those ranges or in between those ranges. It may vary depending, but for the most part, they range in close proximity of the person. So with that being said, let me get into kind of the drill. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to face this target here. So while you may not be able to see the target, I think it's important to be able to see what I'm doing with my firearm. And so in, some cases you may be in a person's personal space, or they may be in your personal space, for whatever reasons that may be. And someone being in your personal space is a whole nother video. You should never allow a person into your personal space. But for whatever reason, let's just say that you're engaging them and they've entered into your personal space. Maybe you don't have the ability to back up. Maybe you're indoors. Like, there's a variety of environmental reasons why you may have to engage with this person at close proximity such as this. First off, what I always like to do anytime I'm talking to somebody, or somebody that may be a potential threat, or really anybody for that matter, because you never know what a person is planning. You never know what is in a person's mind, so you always have to be ready. Once again, I've made videos ad nauseum talking about this. You should always be prepared. You should always have a plan. And so part of that plan is your stance. And so if I'm standing with somebody in close proximity like this, my arms are like this. I have my hand up like this because it's non-threatening, but it also allows for the ability to defend. And especially if I'm in close proximity like this, I need to be able to have my hands up without making the person feel like I'm threatening them. If I go like this, or I put my hands up, that's already kind of an indicator to them that, I'm either being passive aggressive or I'm being aggressive. And so with this makes it seem like I'm listening to them, I'm trying to understand them without feeling like a threat, but simultaneously allowing me to, if a punch comes, being able to parry and step back, which gets to my next thing, is blade your body ever so slightly. Don't blade it so much, but make sure you're on your back foot. So that way, if you have to back up for whatever reason, and you have the ability to back up, then do so. We're going to assume that you don't have the ability to back up, and that's the reason why you're in close proximity. So in this case, you have your hand here. Let's just say that this becomes too much of a threat, or in your mind, this is a threat that you need to deal with. You're first going to do, and then another reason why I have this arm like this, what you're first going to do is step forward, driving the elbow into either the chest, the center part of the chest. Anybody that's had the tip of an elbow driven into that chest knows it hurts. It's very painful. It's not meant to eliminate the threat. It's more so a distraction. Now, the reason why I say the chest is because if the person is taller, being able to reach up to their head may not be as beneficial to you. Now, if the person's kind of similar height than you, then yes, an elbow to the face, or the like an upward elbow into the chin, not to really destroy them or neutralize the threat with that strike, but merely to distract them. So once I've done this, you hit with the elbow. As you've decided to do this, this other hand should be moving down to your weapon. And when you grab your weapon, so it should look like this. Boom. It should be simultaneous. Once you've struck, your hand is on the weapon. You now pull out, and then it's here. Barrel facing downward, away, nice and tight to your body. This thumb should be at your nipple line. You should be able to draw a line from the top of your thumb across your nipple line as you fire a couple shots. And if necessary, additional ones. But for practice purposes, just do 2 rounds. And then once you've shot, you can come here to your center, because the threat is still there. If he didn't drop, but you've gained some distance because you struck him with 2, bring it here. Boom, boom. 2 more shots. And once you've been able to gain some space, you can extend. But once again, this all becomes situational. It really depends on your environment. Okay? If I don't have the ability to get back, you don't want your firearm out like this, because the moment that he puts his hand on it, he has just as much control over that weapon as I do. And that's not what you want when somebody's fighting for their life. Okay? You're fighting for your life, they're fighting for theirs, especially if a gun has already been drawn. So remember, this is why we come here. Not to mention that even if he does go grab for this, everything is connected. There's nothing really to grab here. And once he puts his hand here, his hand's going to get shot, and then his body will get shot. So there's nothing really for him to grab here. If my gun is extended, this gives him more control over the weapon. Okay, which is why when we draw, we come up, finger to nipple line, and boom. And then if the person backs up, or you have the ability to back up, then by all means back up. But if you don't, that's what you would do. That's one drill that you can practice. In this case, I'm practicing with an airsoft, but I have done this drill with live fire. You should never do this independently of an instructor when doing this with live fire. You should always have a certified instructor with you when doing any type of live fire scenarios. I'm merely showing this for educational purposes, but also ways that you can train, or for those who are a little more advanced and trained, that you can do this in a safe ineffective manner. And in this case, I have an airsoft, which is the best simulation you can get without actually having a firearm. So drawing, keeping that target down, and essentially what that will be hitting, even if they have a tactical vest, will be hitting right here in that lower hip area or iliac crest, which, not for nothing, is also where you would target if you're in a knife fight. It's one of many different areas you would target for a knife fight. Remember, when you're dealing with weapons, you have to assume that they also have a weapon. And you don't want to sit here and dance around with them, because their job is to kill you, just like your job is to survive and kill them if necessary in order to survive that encounter. Once again, this is not meant to somebody stepped on your shoes and you give them a quick elbow and then, blow their guts out. That's not what you should be doing. This is last resort. And once again, all my videos are educational. They're only meant for people to utilize these techniques in drilling. Yes, can they be applicable in real life? Of course. But I've made videos in the past, and I will continue to make videos and reinforce this. Avoidance is the key element. It doesn't matter how well advanced you are in firearms, martial arts, hand-to-hand combat. If you can't avoid a situation, the odds of survival are slim. Even if you do survive the encounter, your ability to survive the encounter after the fact, meaning you're going to be arrested, you're going to be sued, your family's going to be destroyed. Like, is that something that you're going to want to live with? Probably not. And so your best bet is to always avoid these types of situations, which is why this is educational, an educational video, and not necessarily meant for you to go out and try and demonstrate on somebody. I have to make that abundantly clear. As a firearms instructor and a self-defense instructor, period, I have to be 100% crystal clear that anything that I show in these videos are merely educational and instructional. Yes, are they drills that you could utilize in a self-defense scenario? Yes. But just because you see a video doesn't mean you can just go out and do it. This requires practice, dedication, and the supervision of a certified instructor when doing these types of drills. That being said, I'll end this video here. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like this video, please hit the like button. For those in the Harford County area, I operate self-defense services for adults and kids at dnddefense.com. You can sign up there. The current training programs that are there are not necessarily organized in a way that will indicate a length of time. I am currently trying to update that, but until then, you can take those programs up until you feel comfortable. So if you feel comfortable just doing one of those programs, or because they're designed more so for private lessons as opposed to actual individualized programs that people can do for weeks on end. But I'm currently updating that, and will keep all people informed when I make these videos, as well as any past students that may see this video. So that being said, again, like the video, subscribe, go to my website, dnddefense.com, sign up for pistol permit class, martial arts class, or hybrid classes where I do a combination of the two. And if what you see there doesn't suit specifically what you're looking for, you can always contact me through my contact information, which should be on the website. And I will be more than happy to accommodate a customized program for you specifically. So with that being said, I'll end this video. Thank you and be safe.